If you've been scrolling through endless specs and still can't decide, I get it. I've been there, staring at drill presses that promise the moon and wondering if the extra cost is really worth it. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The first thing I did was step back from the marketing copy and think about the actual job I need to do every week. I run a modest metal fabrication shop where I'm constantly drilling holes in inch-to-inch steel for brackets, and occasionally I need to tap a thread into an inch bolt hole. In the past, I've used a benchtop drill press that could only swing at a fixed speed, which meant I was either chewing up my bits on hard steel or slowing down to a crawl on softer aluminum. The uncertainty of speed, plus the occasional bit breakage, made me wonder whether a variable speed machine would actually save me time and money in the long run. The Baileigh 16-inch DP1000 VS is built around an inverter-driven head, which is a fancy way of saying the motor can adjust its output smoothly across a 150 to 3,000 revolutions per minute range. In practice, that means you can spin an inch twist drill at 2,500 revolutions per minute for aluminum and then drop down to 200 revolutions per minute when you're boring a 1-inch hole in mild steel without changing belts or gears. I tried that exact scenario on a recent project, drilling a series of inch holes in a steel plate for a custom bracket. At the higher end of the speed range, the bit cut cleanly, and when I lowered the speed for the larger hole, the feed stayed consistent and the bit didn't wander. The variable speed saved me the hassle of swapping out pulleys, and the consistent cut reduced the amount of coolant I needed. Speaking of coolant, Baileigh includes a 2-gallon coolant reservoir that circulates oil directly onto the workpiece. For a shop that does a lot of steel drilling, that's a real convenience. The system kept the bit temperature down enough that I didn't have to pause after every few holes to let the tool cool. It also extended the life of my drill bits, something I could see in the wear pattern after a half-day run. If you're used to spraying mist or using a flood system, the built-in reservoir feels like a small but meaningful upgrade that reduces mess and cleanup time. The safety shield around the head is another practical detail that often gets lost in the spec sheet. When you're drilling deep holes, chips can fling out with surprising force. The shield catches the majority of those fragments, so you're not constantly wiping metal shavings off your shoes or worrying about stray bits hitting your eyes. Combined with the halogen gooseneck light, you get a well-lit, protected workspace. I found the light especially helpful when I was working in the early evening. It cast a bright, focused beam right over the table without creating glare on the metal surface. On the flip side, there are a few trade-offs that make the machine a better fit for some users than others. First, the unit runs on 220V single-phase power. If your workshop only has standard 110V outlets, you'll need to add a transformer or run a new circuit, extra cost and a bit of a hassle. The base is made of cast iron, which adds the rigidity you want, but also makes the whole thing weigh close to 600 pounds. Moving it once it's set up is practically impossible without a forklift or at least a couple of strong helpers. For a hobbyist who works out of a garage and needs to tuck the press away after each session, that mass could be a deal breaker. Another practical limitation is the drilling capacity. The inverter-driven head can handle a maximum of 1-inch mild steel, and the auto-reversing tap tops out at 5/8 inch ch. If your projects routinely involve larger diameters, say, a 1-inch hole for a pipe fitting, you'll quickly outgrow the machine's capabilities. In my experience, most small shop fabricators never exceed that 1-inch threshold, but it's something to verify against your own parts list before you commit. So who should walk away with this drill press? If you're a small to medium metal shop, A.